What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So I posed a question to my channel members because each week they help me decide on content to make. Now that's part of the channel membership at every single tier. And the most voted on video was the top 10 best summer fragrances for men of all time. So some things you're expecting to see are indeed here. I grabbed what was the most mentioned out of all the comments. So they voted on it, and I put it to you guys, to my subscribers, in a poll. More of a question. I said, just put whatever. Some people put 15 different fragrances. Some people put one. And I tabulated as much of it as I could. And we've got our 10 here. According to you guys, my subscribers, as per chosen to do this video by my members. It was all over the place, right? These are the 10 best summer fragrances of all time. So stay tuned. Some of these are near and dear to my heart, kind of like Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Eau Intense. I was not surprised to see this one get mentioned early and often. This stuff's really good. It's an appropriately named flanker. It is the intense take on the original Light Blue pour Homme, only it's a monster performer, a compliment magnet. I love this stuff. It's so oceanic and salty. Up close on skin, it's a little off-putting, I find, but out in the air, magic. Beautiful. Really, really good stuff. A lot of citrus, very salty, oceanic, like I was saying. Very musky as well. Soft woodiness in the back, but it never becomes a very woody base, I don't find anyways, but very bright, and this is an attention grabber. This stuff will pull people in, at least in my experience, and I know a lot of you out there have a similar experience, so first one we're talking about here today, as chosen by my subscribers, Light Blue Eau Intense. Now, I have to say, this isn't ranked because this would be the number 1 or number 2 for mentions. If it was, Versace Man Eau Fraiche. No surprise here. A lot of you were probably expecting to see this fragrance. I was expecting to see it too. Sour, bright, watery citrus. That's the top note. Clean and musky, a little fresh and spicy. This one does have a bit of a woody base to it, but this is a timeless scent DNA. It's very replicated at this point. There's a lot of fragrances that have their take on it. The true magic is in this one. I would have to say it's a staple in every man's collection at some point in their life. Of course, not every man has ever owned this fragrance. I get it. But young bucks looking for a first fragrance, this is a great choice. Anybody just looking for something fresh, inviting, that will get them a nice compliment here and there, that literally, if you're in the mood for a freshie, you can wear year-round. This is great, but when it comes to summertime fresh, super hot summer's day, not too many I would consider even on the same level as Versace Man Eau Fraiche. Next, I was not surprised to see this one as much as I did. A lot of you will agree with this. Some of you will say, it's cheap garbage. I get it. It's polarizing. It's Nautica Voyage. I'm probably going to put it in the thumbnail. It deserves a spot here. I'm not surprised a bunch of people picked this one. Watery, crisp apple, clean and musky floral. Because it does have a nice white floral heart to it. Even has a little bit of a cucumber smell. This is timeless. This will never get old. This is the most popular Nautica fragrance of all time. It's the highest selling. Last I remember, this was the highest selling Amazon fragrance. It probably still is. It's still a great addition to anybody's collection. It's a good gym fragrance. It's a good high heat daytime wear. It's a good work fragrance. It's good for so many things. Out the shower refresher. In high heat. Not too many can really do such as good of a job for $20 or less. It's just good stuff. I know not everybody feels that way, but a lot of people sure do. Because again, if this was ranked, I think this and Man Eau Fraiche would have been 1 and 2. This was mentioned a lot. Again, that's Nautica Voyage. So several of the flankers to this line were mentioned. This was mentioned the most. That's why it's here. Literally had a couple people say any Acqua Di Gio fragrance. Like, take my pick. Like, vote towards whatever gets the most votes. So we're talking about Profondo in the Acqua Di Gio line. This was the most mentioned version of Acqua Di Gio. Not surprised, once again. I thought maybe the original would have been the one, but this, people dig this one. It gets a lot of love. Super oceanic and watery. There is a nice citrus at the top. A little bit orangey at the top, but it's more so airy, very oceanic. I would say even a little aldehydic and aromatic, the way the top note comes across. Super synthetic at the top. I have to call it what it is. But out in the air, this is very charismatic. This is super attractive to people. And if you want performance, a freshie with real performance, that's captivating to the point of it's a compliment puller. It just is. Let's call a spade here, guys. There's a reason this got voted by so many people in this poll. Not surprised it's here. Really not. If you haven't gotten your nose on this one yet, it is a summer staple. I agree with them for sure. It's Giorgio Armani's Acqua Di Gio Profondo. This is going to surprise you. If it was ranked, this would have been number 3, I think, if I remember correctly. Because this was mentioned a lot. I was surprised. I wasn't surprised it was mentioned, but I was surprised at just how much John Varvatos Artisan Pure came up in these comments for polling purposes. People love this stuff. It's probably at this point the most popular fragrance from the house because it's a decent performer for what it is. Traditionally, John Varvatos fragrances are known to not really last that well for most people. This one you can, I mean, for me, I get about 6 hours on my skin. And then on top of that, it's a freshie. But it's a more photorealistic, authentic, grassy green, herbal, watery citrus type of feel. It's not so synthetic and playful. Like I said, the citrus here feels more photorealistic, a little bit of bitterness to it, but not super bitter. And like I said, these grassy green herbaceous facets that don't necessarily make it all that spicy, but it does have this herbal green feel with all kinds of freshness, a lot of woodiness here in the base. Hyper versatile, great work fragrance, especially in the warmer climate. And then summer, daytime, nighttime, doesn't matter. It's definitely a fresh fragrance with a higher level character because the quality's so good, but you can get this one like $40, $30 to $40 most places from Discounters Online. I'll try to have links to all of these down below if you're interested in checking any of these out. But not surprised it was mentioned a bunch of times. A little surprised at just how many times it was mentioned, but according to you guys, one of the greatest summer fragrances of all time, John Varvatos Artisan Pure. So with this one, Mercedes-Benz Cologne was mentioned. Jimmy Choo Man Ice was mentioned. But this was mentioned the most. And also had comments of anything Dior Homme Cologne related. So anything that smells like Dior Homme Cologne. But it's Dior Homme Cologne. I have it on my hand, actually. I couldn't pull this one out and not spray it. Known to smell like lemonade. Even though it's a grapefruit blossom note, it does smell like straight up lemonade. Zesty, fresh, watery. Beautiful. Not a great performer, but I do have a funny tidbit to add to this. So when I did the Manitou Incline early last year, the recording of this, it's mid-May of 2023. I want to say around this time last year was when I did the Manitou Incline. I wore this, and like 5 or 6 hours in, the people I was with, my friends I was with, he even guessed it. Shout out to Kyle. He even guessed. He's like, man, you wearing Dior Homme Cologne? He was like 10 feet behind me, walking behind me on the way down the mountain. And I was surprised. I'm like, really? And I looked at my watch. It was like 5 hours or something in. And I had a sillage, a crazy trail going. So, and I was sweating my ass off. I just climbed a mountain, you know. I was exhausted. But point being, this performs a little better than most people give it credit for. You would think it would have burned off quick because of the situation. Still going strong 5 hours in, which is noteworthy for a fragrance like Dior Homme Cologne. It's about as refreshing as they get. You could try to go into the nuance of the vetiver woodiness and the way the grapefruit blossom comes across. It smells like lemonade. Plain and simple, like you're spraying yourself down with refreshing, ice-cold lemonade. So I agree. Definitely one of the best summer freshies out there. Dior Homme Cologne. So we have Versace number 2. Some people said Versace Pour Homme. Some people called it Versace Signature because technically both names fit it. Versace Pour Homme, also known as Versace Signature. Not surprised by this one either. The 2 fresh Versace fragrances for men are wildly popular. Staples in any man's collection. Versace Man Eau Fraiche and Versace Pour Homme. You gotta like neroli though. Definitely has a lot of neroli here. This white floral soapy tone with a lot of citrus. It's a little creamy, a little soft and powdery. Definitely very woodsy, but a lot, like I said, that neroli note really shines here for me personally. Prada L'Homme's been called the king of the office. I myself have said this is the king of the office. I think this is the most appropriate office fragrance for men out there. My opinion, of course. Some will agree with me, though. If you haven't gotten your nose on this yet, you're missing out. This is a great addition to anyone's collection. It's hard not to like this one. I dare say if you don't like this one, it's probably you. Because this is damn near a perfect, fresh, inoffensive fragrance. It performs decent. It's rather unique, believe it or not. It's similar to a lot of things because of the composition, but the overall composition is specifically Versace Pour. So, as voted on by you guys, one of the best summer freshies of all time. Versace Pour. So with this one being so new, I think everybody's just having a love affair with this fragrance right now, and that's why it got voted into one of the best summer fragrances of all time. Of all time. The annals of time for any of you that have been alive, as long as you've been alive, this is one of the greatest. Now look, it's phenomenal. I'm not knocking that, but I mean, it's so new. How could it be one of the best of all time? Well, I guess Terre Eau Givree is one of the best of all time. I didn't make the list. I didn't vote on it. I just got it recently. I haven't spent a ton of time with it, but it is magic. Grapefruit lemon smell, zesty, bright. The woody facet here is kind of that earthy vetiver tone that the DNA has to tie it to it. It does smell like an immensely fresh citrus take on Terre d'Hermès. Hands down, easily the best one for me in the line, because they smell kind of weird on my skin. This one doesn't. This is a delight, and I actually get decent performance. 6-7 hour range, so safely 6 to 8 hours. Some people told me they get 3 or 4. That's to be expected. It is immensely fresh. I wouldn't be surprised by that, honestly. But this is quality. For being a designer, this, you could have poured this into insert name of niche fresh bottle here, and everybody would have believed it was not a designer, that it was a niche fragrance. The quality is just so authentic. It's just refreshing. It's got a zest to it. It's got a little bit of an astringent quality without being super tart. Beautiful citrus fragrance. Like I said, it's dominant citrus aromatic with a little bit of a woody base. It's simplistic in its design, but it smells absolutely magnificent. According to you guys, one of the best summer fragrances ever, Terre d'Hermès Eau Givree. This sure came up a lot. There was one other that came up from the house. Percival came up a few times, but it wasn't even close. It wasn't even close. This came up more than Elysium. Elysium actually came up a good bit, but not more than the rest of these. I was surprised Elysium didn't make it. It did get a lot of mentions. There was a lot of mentions. There was a lot of votes for this. But Sedley from Parfums de Marly. I get it, guys. It's super easy to like. This is one of the most versatile fragrances known to man. Again, my opinion. But for it to get all these mentions and votes, a lot of you feel that way too, at least for the summer. So it's aromatic, it's minty, it's creamy, it's a little soapy, there's some ambroxan here, there's woods. There's a lot of nuance to it, and it'll shock you with the way it performs. 7-8 hours in, it'll hit you just randomly out of nowhere, because you can go nose blind to this one. It has a maturity to it without being serious or old man smelling. It's very much a niche blue. The color of the bottle is very fitting. It has that level of versatility that you would categorize the blue fragrances. And I mean, it also has the ambroxan, so that ties it right to a blue fragrance right away anyways. This is lovely. This is lovely. This is the most all-around versatile fragrance from the house, in my opinion. And dare I say, for summer, yeah, it's the best one. I would say Galloway's a good option if you want a clean, musky iris that's really fresh for the summer, a little peppery at the top. It's actually very underrated. And then Greenlee obviously works really well. And Percival, like I said, Percival got its fair share of mentions. But, I mean, I agree with the choice that got mentioned from the house. I agree with you guys. One of the best ever for summer, especially for Parfums de Marly, is Sedley. This one made me happy. A lot of the flankers got mentioned. I had a few comments saying any flanker of this DNA. I think Bilbo said that, matter of fact. Shout outs to Bilbo. Bilbo Fraggins, the burner troll profile. Bilbo's a good dude. I know who Bilbo is. But anyways, this one made me happy that I got voted on so much because it's timeless. It's nice to have something that's been around for more than just a few years, 10 years. It's Cool Water Eau de Toilette. I wore this one not long ago. I wore my mild deodorant spray out the shower that night too. This is timeless. This will never be old. It's a minty aquatic. There's a bunch of notes. There's tobacco listed. I get none of that. It's super complex if you look at the note breakdown. What you get overall is this fresh, minty, watery aquatic, very marine tone, a lot of aromatics here. A little bit of a floral heart and some green facets besides just mint. God, it's so good. I'm sorry, I don't care what anybody says. Cool water's great. It's still great. There's woods to it. There's musk. Like I said, there's a ton of stuff going, but it's most notably a minty green aquatic. That's the easiest way to look at it. It's super versatile. This is signature scent-worthy stuff. It's a little bit of a shower gel feel. I think I sprayed too much. I can taste it. Those 2 big sprays was a little too much. That's all I taste now. My bad, right? Call it friendly fire, I guess. If you have never smelled this, this is part of men's perfumery history. This will stand the test of time. Countless bottles sold since the 80s when it came out, early 80s, I think, when it came out. This has been around, and this is going to be around. This is the elder statesman of this particular topic. It was nice to see something that's been around for a really long time get mentioned in a best of all time video, right? I thought there would have been more like it, but it stands tall as this is the godfather of this topic, I guess, is how we're going to view it, with Davidoff Cool Water, the original Eau de Toilette. Well, that's the 10. Thank you so much to all the subscribers that gave their votes, gave their mentions. Thank you to the members that voted on the poll that this got the most votes for as a video I should do. So it was a 2-part thing. The members picked the video, then the subscribers picked the fragrances. So it was an all-inclusive TLTG family community kind of thing. I appreciate all of you guys, seriously. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. So I do appreciate all the feedback, and I love hearing from you guys. Of these 10, what do you have? What do you agree with? What was your vote? Because a lot of you that voted are going to see this video, I would think. Are you happy that the fragrance you picked make it? Are you pissed off? Damn it, I could have swore whatever would have made it. Sound off in the comments, guys. And until next time, I will say if you get your hands on any of these 10 and you give them a spray now, you might thank my subscriber base later, because they picked them as the 10 best summer fragrances of all time. For men. Have a good one, guys.